Okay, here comes a good one. Unexpected in the shadows. Actually, I like to put unexpected things everywhere. I don't know, you ever remember being a kid and playing with the shadows on the wall and doing little birds? Hi, welcome to Give Your Wall Some Soul. I'm Shannon Grissom. Well, today we're going to do a golf scene. In fact, I think this is going to be a two-parter because when I looked at the composition, it's way too complicated for one episode. So we're going to do a lot on the background, see what we can do on the foreground, and just get the canvas covered. And then we'll do a complete first statement, and then next time we'll finish the painting. I'm really excited about this one. When I talk about giving your wall some soul, if it's a person, I want to bring the spirit of the person into the painting. If it's a still life, I really like to enjoy the fruit or wine or whatever's around. And if it's an experience like golfing or even the rodeo series that I started, when I was working on the rodeo series, I got right down in the bull chutes. And in the golf series, I went ahead and I had never golfed before, but I went out with Jody over at Ridgemark, and she was kind enough to, well, once we got far enough out, let me have a few swings. So it was just an incredible experience, and I hope that that translates into the painting. So when you think about golf scenes, you think about a lot of green, but you know what? There's always some red on the golf course. I saw it. So that's what we're going to start with in this painting. I'm going to turn around and mix some of that background foliage. Okay, so when I look at the background, yeah, this is what's behind her. There's some golden hills in the background. There's a dirt ravine in here, and that's where the red's going to go because I really want that next to the green. So I'm going to take some sap green, mix it with some of this nice violet. And just so we have some harmony, because I'm going to be adding this later, I'm going to throw in some yellow ochre and see what happens. That's nice. That's a nice muddy color. That's a great base. I'm going to put it down. I've not mixed nearly enough for what we're doing here. But I'm going to not mix a bigger pile because I want some variation. And you know what I can tell already? It's not red enough. It's just not. Okay, that's better. So let's see, where's this little dark right in here? Oh, that's pretty. Dipping some in the medium. Now, Ridgemark is over in Hollister. It's a great country club. This just was a wonderful environment to go over there, and she took me basically after everybody was gone, so I couldn't get into too much trouble. And she was very patient. Jody is the model here. She was very patient with me. We had a lot of fun. Okay, so it's dark here. I'm just looking at the basic dark and light spots. Right in here. Not being too fussy or picky with it. It's too early for that. Okay. And I'll move some of this over here. And we'll go over here to the palette. I'm going to leave it darker toward the bottom, and as I run out of paint, I'll make it a little lighter as we go up. My dad's been wanting me to do golf scenes for years. And this has been a fun series to do. I've got several going in the studio right now. You know, just the way that I'm putting it on the canvas, and there's a lot of energy and random brush strokes, helps her have some movement back there, so it's not static. And I want to give walls some soul and have them not be boring. Part of my method acting was I also listened to the soundtrack from Tin Cup, which was fun. It was a fun movie. See, isn't that red beautiful? I don't know how it looks. It might just look really dark when you get away from it, but it's just gorgeous. Okay, there's some dark there. There's some leaves back there. Where else is it dark? Down here. I'm not worried about painting around the club. I'm going to do the best I can, but I don't want it to be stilted, so we'll tidy that up later. Okay. Let's see, under her jacket, I'm just looking for all the dark spots. And is there some hair? I'm going to exaggerate some of it because it'll make a better painting. Almost running out of paint here. Let's see. So I just put a big, huge thing of dark where her shoe should be. So that's a whoops. But that's an easy whoops. Just take a little paper towel and wipe it out. I do like to put in the dark spots first so I don't lose my place. That still happens. I'm going to mix some more color here, slightly different. Again, grabbing some more of the green. Now, some people are sap green snobs, and they will not use sap green. Try to say that 3 times fast. But I like it. I like the transparency. It's archival, so I say go ahead. If you like it, use it. Some people like Terra Verde a little bit better. You got to go with the colors that you really appreciate. A little bit, you know, I do like a little bit of this ochre because it helps make it more opaque. That's nice. When you go back to a big canvas like this, you definitely get your work out. I tried to sketch her on a smaller one, and it just felt too restrictive. I tried lots of different formats. Normally, if you look at most of the paintings I do, they're vertical rather than horizontal. But I really like this composition. It helped give you that sense of space. There's so much space there out on the course. Now, one of the cool things about painting, like when I was talking to Jody, she said, you know, when you start, you really should start playing golf. You really should take lessons from a pro so you don't develop any bad habits. And while it's great to take lessons from a professional artist when you're first starting out, I think it's just important to just paint. Go ahead and go for it. So don't wait till you have the perfect teacher. If you can find one, that's awesome. But if you feel like painting, just start. There's plenty of books, DVDs, all kinds of stuff out there. I have to tell you, though, you know, I started painting first, and then what happened was I found this fantastic teacher, Michael Lindstrom, and once I found him, things really did, my paintings really did improve considerably. Okay, so it's dark there. And then what happens? Then the hill is in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and put some ochre, some spots of ochre in. See what happens there. How far does this come up her jacket? Let's see, here, maybe a little higher. I didn't want a straight line. That would be boring. So I'm going to bring this up. And this is kind of a straight line too, so we need to break this up. Not enough paint on the brush. Okay, that's good. I'm going to throw some yellow ochre down. See how I like that. Getting a clean brush for that. Again, a nice big one. I need to clean my palette off. It might be a little bit too loud. There's no maybes about it. I'm going to tone it down just a little bit with this green that I already have mixed. In fact, rather than, the best way to tone it down intentionally, I'm going to use my dirty brush. That'll work. Okay, so there's some gold here. And if you're thinking, where are the leaves, where are the trees? That's probably not going to be taking shape until the next episode. We're just going to get the basics blocked in. But there's a lot to getting the basics blocked in. Let's see, there's some light here. Now you notice that I'm holding the canvas. You can actually lock the canvas down so that it's not moving. But for me, it's just an interactive thing. I don't like it. I don't like being restricted. And it feels like the canvas is restricted if I do that. this light up here. The setting is really pretty. You have this nice contrast of the greens against the over at Ridgemark against the beautiful golden hills during the summer. And there were some great, incredible sunsets too out that way. Kind of looks like camouflage. Where else? There's some more over here. I want to make it kind of random. I hear you saying kind of. It looks random to me. Well, that's good. Every time I start a new series, I learn something new. And most of the time, I'll do maybe 10, 15 paintings in the series. So by the time, you really get a rhythm going and you really learn a lot when you go through the whole thing. So they evolve over time. And I've learned a lot of patience over the years, which is not something that I was born with. Let me give you a good example of that. Okay, I had, if you've seen my sock monkeys, I had them printed on puzzles. And I'm kind of a type A person where I really like to just get things done yesterday. And these puzzles came in, they were gorgeous. And they were printed, the image was printed on the tin, and I opened the tin to see what they were like, and then I put it back and I thought, okay, I'll package them up really nice for sale. And as I was getting ready to go to bed last night, I look at the studio, there's a puzzle piece on the floor. And I don't know what tin it came out of. And so I counted, and that didn't work, and then counted and counted and counted. Basically, what I had to do, thank God there were only two of each image, so I only have to figure out between the two puzzles. But somebody like me who really doesn't have the patience to put the puzzle piece together to figure out where it goes, it was, the thought of doing that just made me tired. So so anyway, that's something that I had to do, and I could look at it one way as, boy, what a pain, or hey, I must have been meant to slow down today. And so I choose to look at it this way: is that today I was meant to slow down and see and check out the puzzle. And what that forced me to do was really, really look at my artwork, because as I'm putting the puzzle pieces together, I'm actually creating the painting again. So it might be a neat idea once you do get one done to, if you don't want to get a puzzle made, to maybe Xerox a copy of, once you shoot a photograph of your piece, Xerox a copy, cut it in different pieces, and as you're putting it together, you really get a good idea of what you did and how you did it. It makes you look at it a whole different way. And one of the really wonderful things about painting is that I have developed patience in the painting process that I never knew I had. Never. But I just figure, I had to laugh because talk about karma. I had to actually just be patient and put that thing together today. Although I have to tell you, I strongly thought about hiring somebody to do it for me. It just made me tired. And I think, I used to really like puzzles, but I think when you're an entrepreneur, my whole life is a puzzle, and I didn't want to do one more. Okay, so enough about puzzles and work here. We've got this great camouflage, and I'm like pretty much covering up her head, and I don't want to do that. So now I'm going to put some green in. Can you see why this is a two-parter? I think I need some more green. I'm almost going to go with some straight sap. and see how that does. And while I was talking, I almost chopped off her poor little head, and I will fix that. Now, the cool thing about these shots that I took when I was there is that Jody wasn't posing. She was just golfing. So I really got some great shots that don't feel posed. Okay, I'm going to kind of outline where her hair goes, because I don't want to run into her head again. I can hear her saying, "Thank you very much." Oops. Sorry, Jody. Just went right into your jacket. Okay, and there's some more green there. Is that darker? I might grab, now I'm going to start mixing some of this. I discovered the mixture of sap green and phthalo turquoise. That's a happy combination. Gotta be careful when you're doing greens, if you want realistic greens out there. I've seen some really, I'm thinking of a politically correct word to say about some of the bad greens that I've come up with. And I can't. But anyway, they're ugly. They're just ugly. So sometimes when you're painting and you come up with these combinations, they're really good lessons, because then you know what not to do. So then once you learn what not to do, it's like, how do you get from knowing what not to do to knowing what you should do? And I got to say, that's where a good teacher comes in handy. Oh, that's nice. I've picked up something in there, and I'll dig it out later with the palette knife. I have no idea what it is. This really, right now, what the objective of this background is just to cover the canvas today and do some nice basic shapes. I'm not going to be painting leaves or doing anything like that. Let's see. I have a friend that we critique each other's work, and we were talking about landscapes. And one of the biggest problems is keeping the values clean. What do I mean by values? By dark, not how appropriate the painting is, but how dark or light it is. Okay, I think there's some light. And what I'm doing is, you'll see some light foliage, but I think I'm going to just put it in mid-tone and put the very light on top. These are nice fall colors. This time of year, you won't see me doing too many primary paintings. I just can't. They've all shifted. In fact, I teach a class at Richmark, and we're doing a Monet study, and it's all in pastels, and doing something in pastel tones this time of year was really challenging for me. I do need to mix a little bit lighter tone for some of these areas, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that together before it's too hard. I'm going to add some white. Might as well just steal some of this that I already have mixed. It's a nice mid. Let's see, is it warm? It's warm, so I'm going to add a little yellow to that. And it'll probably be the yellow ochre, because I'm still doing the mid-tone here. That's good. Still using the same brush, which you know is unusual for me. Now I'm looking at it from a distance. Wow, looks like a cool abstract in the background, like some fire-breathing dragon or something coming out of there. But it is what I was looking for to get started in the back. So that's good. That's happy. Sometimes I get back and look at it and go, uh-oh, I have to fix it quick. Okay, so it's a little bit lighter here. Let's see, around her hand. Where else is it lighter? A little bit of light right in here. Let's see, where does her leg go? It goes like this. It's an interesting perspective here. It's great to go out with somebody who is as passionate about the sport and where she works, for that matter, as I am about painting. So I really learned a lot while I was out there with her, and we had fun. I, of course, came home and told my husband I'm going to start golfing now, and he's like, yeah, when are you going to fit that in? But it did sound good. I think for now the best compromise would be to take my paints out there. Okay, so if you're into abstracts, and I know there's at least one of you who called me and said you were, then just this whole background section might be a fun exercise for you without ever doing anything else, no figure, nothing. Just play with color like this. Do a fall scene with just fall colors. However, if you have to make something look like something, you just can't get your arms around an abstract. Have patience, we will get there. Okay, let's see. Throw some light up here. Taking a look at these shapes again. That might be just a little bit too much of the light. That's okay. I'll go ahead and finish my darker color there. Whoa. About knocked over the table. It's been kind of like that all day for me. I was one of the kids that, I have a twin sister and a little sister, but whenever anything broke in the store, my mom would look to see where I was. And so I'm not surprised about knocked over that table. They thought I'd outgrow it, but it just didn't happen. Okay, a little more warmth there. I'm just going to grab all that green. Why not? Some straight tube color, just because. Just because it's decadent. There are straight tube snobs too, you know. We have to work on that. Somebody, I was at a show recently and they looked at my work and said, oh, you really like those primary colors. Like it was a bad thing. Oh. Yep, I do like primary colors. And I like secondary, I like tertiary. Just depends on where I am. Okay. When I'm painting something that's in this mode and I'm not representational, that's when the really cool things happen as far as lost time. It's amazing how, you know, all of a sudden 3 hours have gone and I don't even know where I was. Just sucked into the canvas. Okay, gotta cover this part here. What is that hand doing? That's too boring in there. I have to change that. So, move over some yellow ochre. I don't care what the picture says. It needs it. Probably needs some red too. And you know what? It was just an accident. It got on my palette knife. And we need to use it somewhere just because it, you know, it's been all, you know, a long time. So just for the fun of it, just because it's not anywhere and it would add a little interest, I'm just throwing some right here, right off the knife. Yeah. Be brave. What was going on down there? I don't know. A little more yellow ochre. Love that. This is a great base. Okay, let's see. Want some contrast with her hair. So I'm going to make that darker. This is one of those cases where I know that it'll make it, even though the photograph isn't a certain way, if you know it'll make a better painting, go for it. I am going to start to need a tinier brush soon. I've gone as long as I can without having to use a, let's see. Jody has great curly hair. We're going to have fun playing with that later. Okay, now I need to step back and look. Wow. That's awesome. This is a great start for the background. And you know what? It does remind me of all those puzzle pieces I was looking at today. It's amazing how it comes out. Okay, should I soften this just a little bit? But I don't want to bore you with some of this stuff, so I'm just going to paint a little bit, and then I need to move on. Gorgeous. Okay, now there are two parts. There's the actual green, the putting green, which is down here, that's flat, like a carpet. And since I don't golf, I don't know the proper term for the area that she's standing on right here, right beside the green, that actually comes up a little bit. So I definitely want to show the difference. I see this needs to go. I want to show the difference between the area here, it's got more height to it, and the flat carpet-like surface of the putting green. So they're close in value, so it's going to be a matter of changing the strokes on one. Strokes in painting and strokes in golf. Okay, so I need to make a lighter mixture. Add some white to this. And I didn't get that. Let's see. That's brighter. I like that. It's still, as far as value, it may not be light enough, but I think for a base, this is good. And then what I'll do, we'll put light over the top next time. Let's just see. Yeah, that's going to work. Okay. We're doing a lot of wet on wet painting. Normally, you know, I use a million brushes. Now, the easiest way to paint the bottom of this is I'm actually going to take the canvas and I'm going to flip it all the way around, and that way, or at least on its side, and that way it'll be easier to paint. So, yeah, we'll try that. Just do the side. I think there were some leaves here. I'll put those in later. Notice how some of the dirty stuff on the brush actually gives some interest. Looks like I meant to do that. Of course I did. Oops, that was part of the golf club, but we'll put that in later. You can't see it in the grass anyway, which is cool. And there's some sort of putter hanging out. That was probably the one that I was using over here. So we'll put that in. Now remember, my dad totally loves golf, and when but I haven't, you know, I haven't been around him and his clubs anyway, for a long time, and I was surprised that woods are not wood anymore; they're metal. Cool thing for me though is I love to paint the reflection on metal, so that was a happy discovery. So for right now, I'm just painting this direction. Good enough. Then I need darker, which I already have it mixed. How nice is that? Right here, where it meets. Okay, and then it just needs to be lighter on the other side. And there isn't enough value contrast here, but I can fix that later. I can see that happening, but I need to keep the momentum going here. Don't want to cover up that club. Kind of a rectangle for the club. Okay, then I just need to add a little bit darker rim, and I'm going to grab, because I know that this is very powerful, this phthalo turquoise. Yeah, it takes over. I was going to say it's like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack, but it's not really, because phthalo turquoise in this case is not obnoxious, where Rodney was a little bit obnoxious. Now, if I threw in some of that orange there, that might be just the ticket. Okay. I'm having tissue issues here. All right. That dark enough? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to throw that down. All right, so where's dark? Just, I actually need to turn it the other side so that I can see what I'm doing once I get to that point. So I'm going to throw in some, I'm breaking up my strokes so it's not just one solid line. And then I'm going to need to flip it over to do the initial grass thing here. And if I don't get all this paint off my hand, it's going to be in the wrong places on the, there. Okay, so now we have a little line there. And we can throw in some, let's see, some grass lines here and there. This is random. If it looks random, it really is. You need to have some dark and light for this to work. Let's see. Going into different areas. All right, so we have that. That's going like there, and we need a little bit more over on this side. And then you could take your brush, just for the suggestion of some grass here, and and bring it up. But I'm not going to do that yet. I mean, just wanted to give you an idea of what it could do to bring in some grass stroke, little bits of grass here. But it's too early for that. We're going to do that next time. So. But I do want, if I don't do this well enough here, it won't show up later. And again, I can't bore you with that area. I've got to start working on Jody. She's a ghost right now. We can't have that. Okay. Now, when you get to this part of a painting and you've completed the background, it does already look like there's something going on. There's a little bit of grass going here, that there are two separate areas. Definitely got a background. There are, just like there in music, where there are movements and you have something that goes on for a period, and it has a certain rhythm to it, a certain way of being, and then it may speed up or slow down. Same thing with a painting. So there's a rest. After you've completed this kind of background, you're going into a whole different type of movement in the symphony of the painting. So here, it was free-flowing, very loose. This will be loose too, but it's more calculated. So it's almost like you need to take a break, step back, and then attack again. So that's what we're going to do. And what should I start on? Let's see. I'm going to, you can do it a lot of different ways, but I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So, but what I might do is if I mix flesh tones, then I'll do all the flesh at one time, do all the jacket at one time, that kind of thing. That's just more expeditious. So where do we start? Let's go ahead and give her some hair. Like the background, it's going to be suggestive. It's not going to be a total rendered thing yet. Okay. So what do we want to do for the lights? I'm going to give her, she's got beautiful brunette hair. I'm going to just add a little bit of, if you mix a brown and add white to it, it just doesn't have enough punch. So I'm actually going to make her highlights right now anyway. The base of them will be more of a yellow golden color. And she does have a little red tint to it in the sun. Not just because I like red. Okay, that's a good light. Maybe it's not light enough. Okay, Jody, we're going to give you a little bit of orange. All right, let's see how light that is. I think for the most part that's a decent medium light color. I'm switching from this Mongo brush to something that's a lot more manageable for that size that I'm working on. Getting a little bit of liquid. And where do I see light? I see light. Sound like Miss Nancy. I see light right here. And I'm not even sure what that is there. I may ignore that. I'm ignoring things I don't like. You can do that when you're painting. Okay, she's got some light right there, and I'm going to have to chop some of that off because that just didn't quite work. Cutting her hair. This is just going to give you the basic structure of it. All right, so it's light at the top, and I'm just looking for light. Where is it light and where is it dark? And that's light there. It's darker there. And there's dark in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to mix a darker color, brown. You know, what's interesting is I didn't put down any ultramarine blue today. And I don't know if I even brought some. I'm going to try mixing it with this and just see how I can do it. See if we can make a nice brown. We can. So I took phthalo turquoise, cad red light, and oops, making your hair too red. I gotta fix that, Jody. I hear that. Okay. There, that's better. That's a nice brown. It's a good base. Gonna get another clean brush. I'm looking for, I have all these square brushes right now, and I need to buy some new ones. I really wanted a filbert. And why do I want a filbert? Because it's got a tapered edge, and it's more of an organic shape. So the tapered edges of the brushes really help fill those little spots. Okay, so let's see how this. It's dark here. There's some dark right here. Some right under her hat. Some right where I accidentally put some in the background. That was an accident. We'll give her a nice little flip. This girl has great curls. Okay. I love painting curly hair. It's fun. Where else is there some dark? A lot of the time I will do this in the mirror and see if it starts taking shape. It's hard for me to see from the tiny little picture if that's working. I think I need to throw some light in. Now keep in mind, this is just the base color of her hair. It's going to be different in the final painting. And what else is going on here? Some light right here. It's getting kind of muddy. I should get a clean brush. A bit new. Okay. And I'm just going to blend this in the background because when we stop, I don't want her to be a cut out pasted thing on the canvas. And I'm just kind of following the strokes of her hair, the way her hair is lying, or the way it lays, and I'm softening the edges. And I just can't believe how fast the time goes when I'm painting. So I thought I was going to get the whole canvas covered today, but I don't think so. I don't even think so. It's a good thing we decided we'd do a two-parter here. See how she just gets these little, she starts to get little wisps of her hair there. I'm even throwing some of the background in there. That's okay. All right, that's that doing? There's some light coming down here. Okay. That was a great little base. A little darker in here. All right. What else can we do? Throw in a little bit of hat. There's a little bit of hair underneath there. I'm just going to throw in bits on either side. Okay, that's good. All right, in the very few minutes we have left, I'll mix up a deep black and nah. We just don't have that kind of time. Okay, so let's talk about where we are now. Thank God this is a two-parter, guys. We covered the background. So I know this one was called This Golfer Has Soul, but it could be This Abstract Has Soul. The whole background is a wonderful lesson on just throwing color together harmoniously. And what did we do? We kept adding bits of each neighbor with it when we made the mixes so that everything would be harmonious. So that was great. And also there's the push and pull of this active stuff going in the background, calm down here. And I went ahead and just threw her hair in. And what we'll do, this could very well be a three-parter. What we'll do next time is go ahead and get her body in, so that she won't be a ghost, and we'll get it to at least a good first statement. If we don't get far enough, don't worry about it. Next time we'll finish her off. So thanks for watching. Give your wall some soul. I'm Shannon Grissom.